Hi, we're going to talk a little bit about turning a basement room into the man cave or the dungeon or whatever you care to call it. At the very least, we're going to make it look different than just normal paint. So let's take a look at what we got to start with. This is not something you can easily put a nail into, and it's not real level. You can see kind of here how it's textured and bumpy. That's just like little bits of... Okay, this is the next color, and hopefully you can see what I've got on there so far. Right now it just kind of looks dirty from this angle, I suppose. I don't know, we'll see what it looks like. Now, the thing you want to do is go from your darkest color to your lightest. That way if you get too much concentration of a dark color, you can kind of touch it up a bit with a lighter color. Alright, same technique. We're going to take the brush and dry brush it on. Sand and stuff inside the mortar that they use to backplaster. So it's not a really good surface for painting. And for that, or not for painting, but for doing much of anything with except painting. Now, for that reason, what I thought I'd do just for fun down here is kind of come up with a different finish. Okay, coming back with a third color. This has got a little bit of a greenish tint to it. May not show up that well in this light. I don't have the best lighting down here, but this we're going to put on as our last one. And then we'll go start with the joint lines. Take a look at it, and it's a little dim probably on the camera, but get up close, it'll look better once you get more on there. Now, this wall over here is exactly the same type of wall. It's got all the lumps and bits in it. What I've done is just gone through and done a little faux finish on it. And what we're going to do now, or very shortly, is take that same concept and put it on this wall. Okay, you should be able to see a lot more color on there now, or a lot more stuff. Now, I got, for the extra colors, I got 3 quarts. Keep in mind, you're not going to need a whole lot, even for a room twice this size. If you do it right, you're just going to get a little bit on there. And it's like, here's the lid, I don't know if you can see, but that's all I used for that last color, was what I've got on that lid there. And you can sort of start to see the actual color of the lid showing through. So if I was going to do another chunk of this wall, I would have to go back and reload some. Alright, now let's take a look at doing the actual joint lines. Now for this I'm going to use a different brush. It's a smaller one. Paint off my hands here. Okay, so this is the brush I'm using. Let's see. Kind of compare the two. I'm using a smaller one. This one is 2 inches. I think this one it's labeled 1 inch. And it looks a little bit smaller than half of that. But anyway, it's not very big. I could use a smaller one or whatever works for you. Now, I am going to start at the bottom, because when you're putting rock walls together, you start at the bottom and work your way up. So readjust the camera there. This part will take longer because it's a lot more paint going on, a lot more detail. Now, I started out over here with the same base color, same light gray, and what we'll do is convert that into something, convert this into that. Alright, so let's take a little bit of a look at technique here. This is the lid of one of my paint colors. Now I've got 3 different colors besides the wall color. This is the dark one. This is the one I use for the joint lines. And I've got 2 other colors that we'll take a quick look at later. Now, the concept here is you don't want to solidly paint. What you want to do, and I like to use the lids for this, I give it a good shake beforehand, and then just take the brush and just kind of tap it, get a little bit on there. This is a used brush, so it's not real clean looking. But then kind of brush it off on the side. Yeah, set that down. And then you get up next to your walls, you can do this backwards here, and you just very lightly streak it. Now, let's show you that up close. And you can see this. There's barely any coverage there. You can see the color against the cardboard, but there's not a lot of paint on there. That's what you want to do. Now, for this very dark color, you want to do even less of that on the wall. Now, I'm going to go zoom in close on this one. And as you can see, where I've done that, I've just kind of dry brushed it through here and through here with different colors. Now this dark right here is the joint line. When you back up and not that close to it, it starts to look like it's a rock with mortar around it. That's the goal. That mortar stuff is called the joint line. Let's take this pan around. This is the old wall. Right there is the corner line. And this is what we just did. Now, I want to point out a couple of things. Every once in a while, you'll notice that you get a little bit too much of one color paint. Like right across here, I got that dark stuff in. I don't like that. It doesn't quite look right to me. So I'm just going to take my brush and add to that. Now I've got another small rock and it blends it in much better. So little techniques like that. You may want to go with bigger blocks, smaller blocks, more regular blocks. There's no right or wrong way to do this, but this is just one way it can be done. So I hope that gives you an idea how to do this. It's not really hard, and there is no right and wrong way. Just use your imagination. And just kind of think about what looks like a rock, what doesn't look like a rock. If it doesn't look right, put some more lines in, more joint lines, and just play with it. It's kind of fun. Now, one last little thing I'm going to show you indirectly. Let me set my brush down here. Right. Now, you can see right here is the joint line, and I've taken... Okay, that's pretty much the whole thing there. I'm going to take some camera and go up a little bit closer, get some details, but you kind of got the idea how it works. It doesn't take all that long. And it's kind of fun. You know, the lighter color and done underneath, that just gives a little bit of accent to it. And if you get something that's a little bit too blocky, too thick, like this one that I did, I can come back and put that lighter color on, and that makes it look like a thinner line and not so big and thick, and kind of evens it out. And there's little spots like this you can play with, kind of makes them look better. This is after it's dried some. Just come back and touch it up a bit that way. Okay, so hope that gives you some ideas, and you have fun in your own basement.